Yeah, I think what's interesting is that the African people have this very natural sense of rhythm.
I know.
It's everywhere, and that's what you see in Spain as well. Is people are more worried about the rhythm than the chords. It's a very rhythmic experience.
I know, but I mean, here it's like a lot of course, influential also from South America. Come also from the Afro music, which I'm a big also followers from more let's say local music and things like this, and I think rhythm is everything. Like for example, when I go to the studio to work, I've never started working on the melody. I always think that the rhythm is everything, is the skeleton of the track. Then to add a melody is like this, is only the color, is the makeup, but the rhythm makes the whole difference in the track. Yeah.
I've been always Latin music was always the music from my childhood. So I always try to make interpretation of what is the percussion, melodies, and what brings you a lot of sunshine in your heart. Yes. So that has been like a long process to develop all that kind of things. Yeah. And now I've been in Europe for 14 years, and I feel like a man, like a no man's land.
Aside from your background coming from a Latin sound, how do you conceptualize your music? Where does it come from when you're creating or producing some music?
Well, I listen to a lot of acoustic music, a lot of jazz, Latin music, and things like this, and I always try to bring the feeling of Latin music to the electronic music. That's what I do since the beginning, and it's very hard. Sometimes electronic music is very square and things like this, and I try to, as many other people also, I try always to represent a feeling, an emotion, and that's all about the music.
I love that, and that's so important. And so when you're producing music, where do you find it most come to you? Is it like when you're on the road, at concerts? Is it more personal, private time?
No, I think making music is something about every day. It's something that you do without thinking. Where it comes from is more like a need that you have about doing music, and that's what I try to do every day. Is that I feel responsible towards music, and I try to do every day to bring an emotion out. Yeah.
Being a DJ is something different than being a producer. Producing music is something more personal, something that has to do more with the real music I want to create, and the DJ is more a job, let's say. It's a job that you do every weekend in clubs, very social, there's a lot of people, a lot of craziness, it's like exploding everywhere, so it's like this DJ is very social and it's more related to share something with people and to make something for the party. The job is to make people dancing and to make people having fun, and they go back home and they're like, wow, it was a great night and something like this. It's more like a concert, instead of being a concert, bringing all the machine and making a concert, you just bring turntables and things, and you make a long session of people dancing.
It was the real fact that I moved from one to the other at the very beginning, because I didn't start playing like the way I'm playing today. But at the very beginning was only a practical side, because I used to carry records all around the world for years. And the problem of the records is it's not like in a band that if you're a guitar player and your guitar doesn't show up and you go to a shop and you buy a guitar and you can still play guitar. The problem of the records, if they don't show up, you don't know what to do. you can try anything, but it doesn't work. I mean, people would buy your records, but suddenly it's like, man, you're playing the wrong music. It's like, this is, it's you. So it happened many times that the record didn't show up, and especially if you have one day, another day, if it doesn't show up on the first, you will not have records for the 5 shows you will play. So it was a bit of a complication, and I thought that, records also, one of the beautiful things of record, it has a time of life. Yeah, it means the record you can play 15 times, 20 times, then it starts really crashing. And I love records. I still have my whole record collection, and I'm always listening to my records at home. But I've realized that also about playing sometimes 12 hours after party, blah blah blah, playing there and there. You just kill it, yeah. And I thought it was easier also to protect them, to record them, and keep this little piece of magic, which is one record, inside of the computer and make it much more easier by traveling with the computer and make sure that each time I would gonna go and play, I could properly represent what I do. Yeah?
More the Detroit techno and stuff like that. I think the link between Latin music and house music is very, very close because it's warmer, it has a lot of groove, bass, and a lot of instruments and percussion and stuff. And I was always like attracted by this rhythmic music and colors and feelings that the music has like behind. Yeah. Every musical career there like is like in jazz or in rock or in electronic. There's always key records that makes like a big difference, yeah. This is all the promos without covers and thing. Jackie Me Too is an amazing keyboard player. All this compilation from very old Latin music, salsa music. This is a present that they gave me from Eddie Palmieri, Donna Summer, Bad Girl, Pink Floyd.
I remember especially in some spaces in Chile, we did parties in like really amazing, surrounded like near the ocean and things like this in the early hours in the morning. It's like music becomes like something totally like
religious, yeah.
Religious, really, like you're completely shocked, like really completely shocked with the sound and the frequencies that going on. Almost if you could see the music, you know, it's like something that you could imagine completely on the space, and you could see like the frequencies going on.
Yeah. There was one track that I had ready and we did another track together, so there was these two tracks that we wanted to release somehow in a label. Then my sister, she was still in Chile, she was studying graphic design. The idea became like, hey, why don't you do the covers and stuff? She did like a logo. I remember we were sitting at home and she did like very quickly the end from Cadenza. So we kept it and we decided, let's do one record. But we never thought about doing a label. We thought about doing one or two records and finish. And with the first EP, we had big success. I mean, big feedback, lots of people writing back and stuff like that. And we decided to keep on doing. We had to be somehow. We had to feel responsible for the feedback from the people. So this is how Cadenza was born. Somehow. Yeah. At the moment, we are like, I think, between everybody, I think 10, no? 10, around 10. I modify a little bit the sound from here, the bass, then keyboards. It's complicated if it's the first time you use it, but it's not that complicated. At the end, it's like if you understand one channel, you understand the whole principle of every mixer. The only complicated thing is to get the things together. That everything works and everything understands everything. That's the more complicated part of it. The rest is still. The rest is. Oh, comme ça.
Ah, c'est qu'elles sont mauvaises cette cure. En fait, c'est entre la pisse et la boule de naphtaline. Ça, c'est les joies des vrais tournées, quoi. Les vrais tournées sud-américaines, ça se passe comme ça.
Donc la ligue DJ, c'est comme tout le monde le dit toujours, on ramène toujours des femmes à l'hôtel, on est toujours dans des super chambres, et c'est la grande classe, David. Regarde ça, regarde ma poule. Regarde la grande blague.
La poule. C'est super glamour. Ça se passe tout le temps, ça rigole, il y a des platines, il y a du champagne si tu peux aller chercher dans le mini-bar.
Flat screen, la vie sur Machu Picchu, là, t'as vu la fenêtre?
I'm not afraid about being in the context with, for example, with Ricardo and all these things, because Ricardo is a friend from all my life, so of course I'm involved somehow with him. Now, I think I make my thing in a different way. Everyone has his own way to do the things, and I do it. I always try to do my things by myself. I always try to focus myself into doing something, like for example for the label also. It's very important for me also for Cadenza to try to release like new projects and to bring new people to the music thing, instead of trying to to take friends that I know a lot of friends, and I have a lot of people also around which already make music, and I could just ask them to make something for it, to let's say for own profit. But for me it's really not like that. It's really important that if you try to do something, or if you try to apport something to the music or to whatever, to try to create also a circle of certain people, is really try to do it from the beginning. That's my philosophy of doing things.